We are hearing Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we heard this verse, Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadureva samantavya sambhyak vyavasato hi saha. Krishna told, one who is worshipping me one-pointedly, ananyabhak, not worshipping any other demigods or doing any other process, even if he does some wrong activity, durachar, he does not only wrong, extremely wrong, sudurachar, still you should consider him as a sadhu because he is properly resolved in his life. His target is service of Krishna, eternal devotion to Krishna. That is his target. He is trying, but due to pressure of some past bad habits or some karma or something comes, unwillingly he may commit some by force of those past this. He will commit something wrong. But Gurudev told, don't criticize him because you don't know what is going on in his heart. He is regretting and repenting that he did this, and he's praying to Krishna to forgive him and not supporting that action. He is regretting, and by this repentance he will destroy the reaction of that deed and Krishna will forgive him. So because he is properly resolved, his target is correct and properly is practicing, so you, based on this quality, you should consider him as a sadhu. The practitioner sadhu, but sadhu means devotee. So you should not criticize him or behave harshly with him with some wrong motive like that. And you should see what is good in him. Sadhu Reva, sadhu also means good. We hear in Prahlad Charitra when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, what sadhu you have learned in school? Because Hiranyakashipu did not want to ask any specific question because he is a small boy. If he will not know the answer, then he will be disheartened. So I will just ask him in general what he learned, what is good. And he used this word sadhu. So here also Krishna is saying, though he may do some wrong actions, but if these two qualities are there, he is sincerely worshipping me one-pointedly, and he does not give up, you should consider him as good, or consider what is good in him. Sadhureva Samanta, you should see good qualities in him, that is this devotion he is practicing. This is one meaning. Also, I will read again the commentary of, I don't know, Bishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but from Acharyas. Wherefore his mission of life is single-minded service of the Lord. He is to be regarded as a sadhu, though there might be some foreign elements in his conduct, but they will soon be dispelled by the grace of God and by association with sadhus. The term sudurachar should be clearly understood. Conduct that guides the life of a fallen soul is of two kinds, external and internal. All conducts of life, such as purity, piety, partaking of nutritious diet, etc., in regard to the physical, mental, and social amelioration, means improvement, are said to be external or relative, while those that are conducive to the realization of self and of Godhead are said to be internal or unmixed function of self proper, real self. In conditioned state, an inevitable relation exists between the external and the internal conduct of life. The external conduct cannot be ignored even when the unalloyed devotional service forms an integral part of a man's life. So as long as we are in this world, that external conduct also will be there. We cannot be denied or ignored, but we have to make it conducive to devotion, or as a part of devotion, or supportive of devotion, favorable for devotion, that jukta vairagya, that we have to do. So even if one awakened his real self, but as long as he's in this world, that will also be necessary to do. All kinds of ills, wrong predilections, prejudices, and doubts vanish as soon as pure devotion is awakened in the heart. Relishing love for Sri Krishna increases in proportion as the affinity for mundane relativities decreases. We heard, if someone is eating food, then three effects automatically will come. That hunger will be appeased, one will get nourishment, and also satisfaction. Like that, when one does devotion, serves Krishna, then relishing that love will be proportionately, as also desire for material enjoyment will be removed. There it is written in Bhagavatam, when one performs devotion, service, to that degree three things will happen. One will increase his devotion to Krishna, one will get realization of Krishna, which means relishing love for Sri Krishna, and also virakti, detachment from all non-eternal things and wrong desires, that will automatically come. So it is in proportion to how much one is taking or how much one is serving, to that degree he will get these results. Unless and until the Sankar, I will open 1 second because yesterday already. Unless and until this Sankar of worldly affinity is fully eradicated from the heart, evil conduct is apt to commit its forcible entry into frail humanity. Sankar means a destructive fungal disease of apple and other trees that results in damage to the bark, or an ulcerous condition or disease of a human or animal, a malign and corrupting influence that is difficult to eradicate. So I think this is the case here. Here also one example is given. Racism remains a Sankar at the heart of the nation. How it is pronounced? No, canker, not Sankar, canker. So here it is said, unless and until this canker, means corrupting influence, of worldly affinity is fully eradicated. So one is sadhaka, but that he did not get yet full virakti, full renunciation from this worldly affinity, from the heart. Evil conduct is apt to commit its forcible entry into frail humanity. So by force it may come due to past bad habits or karma, as we heard before, but it is soon curbed down by the loving aptitude for Sri Krishna. The activities of the devotees of the higher order are really praiseworthy and wholesome in all respects. But if perchance any evil conduct of serious type, such as adultery, larceny, larceny, theft, stealing, robbery, thieving, this house breaking, misappropriation, larceny. So this is also one, or malice, to which a true devotee is always averse. Be bound to creep in the life of a sadhu, it will ere long be destroyed by the purifying influence of bhakti. And then there are two types. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one article by Vaishnava Ninda, he wrote, there may be three faults in Vaishnava. Those faults which were existing before he became pure devotee. Then there may be some drawbacks while he is practicing devotion, as we hear here, not yet fully pure, so sometimes something may come, but he will destroy that by repentance and by further devotion. And sometimes even in high class devotees, there it is, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also told, that by some accident it may happen. But that will not last long. Like when one child is trying to stand up and to walk, then he will fall many times. And because he's learning to walk, ultimately he will walk if he does not stop trying. But sometimes even one adult person who already knows how to walk, he also falls down by some accident. But quickly he can stand up and go further. His standing up will not be as one child is falling. This will be very quickly and it will have no harm. So sometimes this also happens. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, none of these faults should be spoken of with wrong motive. Then it will be offense. If for some self-prestige or out of malice or envy or something, one is speaking about these three types of faults in Vaishnavas, he will commit offense. But if there is good motive, like when bona fide guru, he, out of love for disciple, he warns him and guides him, and then it is okay. Or if guru, in order to present some example, like of Jagai and Madai, they were very sinful before, so much sinful. So we are speaking about faults before they became pure devotee, but with what purpose? To give this teaching that you see how they were, and by the grace of Mahaprabhu, by the power of devotion to Krishna, they became purified and they became pure devotees. So we are uttering those faults, but with proper motive. not wrong motive. So in this case, it will not be offense. So by accident also it may happen. That also we should not criticize, because immediately he will stand up again. Irreligious conduct in eating and drinking, coupled with other habits, may characterize a man's life prior to his initiation by the Sadguru, but that is no reason why he should not be taken into account as a sadhu when he worships the Supreme Lord with undeviated mind and soul. Like Jagai Mada, they were drinking alcohol and meat eating, everything they were doing. But once they got grace, of course, in their case, they immediately became pure devotees. But in the case of some sadhaka who got Sukriti and now he got association of pure devotee and accepts shelter of Sadguru, then he will be in the process to give that up, or immediately he will give up. So that we should not consider. We should consider this point, what is good, that he is in the process to serve Krishna, and all those drawbacks and everything, they will be removed by the power of devotion. So taking this quality into consideration, we should consider him as a sadhu because of proper resolve. He is not pure devotee, but he is a sadhu in the sense that he is trying to become, and he's doing that. And because in devotion, process is already also the goal and the result on the way. So because of his resolve and this practice, he should be considered as a sadhu. When he worships the Supreme Lord with undeviated mind and soul, even a moral leper may turn into a saint. Maybe here it is typing mistake, I don't know. Immoral leper, or I don't know. Even a moral leper may turn into a saint, provided he steadfastly follows the path of pure bhakti and craves the mercy of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and his ardent devotees to get rid of those evils. So leper, we have one example there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu gave grace. And also we know Ratnakar, he was killing and everything, but by the grace of Narad, he was purified. That hunter, Mrigari, he was killing animals halfway to get the pleasure of hearing them suffering. Such cruelty was there in him. But by the grace of Narad, he also was turned into a saint. And that Lakshahira prostitute, and she wanted to bring down the character of Haridas Thakur. First, her job is impure. And this job which she agreed to do to ruin the reputation of a saint, such conduct, but she was also rescued by Haridas Thakur. So it is possible. How much one may be fallen or bad conduct, everything. How much? By the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda and their associates, it is possible to come out. It may take some time, but it is possible. We have to start. No one should think I am excluded. For me, there is no chance. That is not true. That will be our false ego telling us this. Or we are trying to make some excuse. But in reality, from Mahaprabhu's side, He is ready to rescue everyone. And he can do that. Only we have to agree to, provided he steadfastly follows the path of pure bhakti and craves the mercy of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and his ardent devotees to get rid of those evils. If one is sincere, Gurudev taught, if one is sincere for eternal welfare, he's praying for the grace and he's trying, and he's not approving those anarthas and like this, then surely they will help him and he will be purified. Then another interpretation of this verse, he who does not look to the irreligious conduct or bad habits of an Ananya Bhakta, that is to say, a Bhakta who worships Sri Krishna with unsullied, single-minded devotion, is to be reckoned as a sadhu, because his attempts are well resolved and righteous. It is by such properly resolved righteous conduct that a sadhu will soon become a dharmatma, God-loving soul, and attain eternal bliss, as mentioned in the next shloka. The expression, here it is in Devanagari, I cannot read, keep Sadhureva Samantavya, yes, this one. Sadhureva Samantavya does not refer to an Ananya Bhakta, but to him who does not carp or scoff at the Ananya Bhakta, who is not only a sadhu by nature, but a dharmatma as well. This interpretation of Srila Thakur Bhaktivinoda gives us the clue that harmonizes the trend of systematic argument connecting both the shlokas 30 and 31. Once, Yamaraj and some, maybe Narad and some demigods, they were discussing this verse, these two verses, and they were confused why Krishna is saying Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantava samya vyavasadu Kipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigachati konteya pratijanihi name bhakti pranashati. This is next verse, we did not read yet. So they thought, why Krishna is saying that Ananya Bhakta or pure devotee will quickly become dharmatma, religious, and he will be purified. This is contradictory. One who is pure devotee is already dharmatma and pure, and he is sadhu. So they could not resolve. Then they saw Bhaktivinoda Thakur was going in the sky. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then they thought, oh, pure devotee, he can help us understand this properly, because pure devotee surrender to Krishna, he can grasp. To him it will be revealed what Krishna meant. They are also devotee, but such lila was made, they said, and they called him. Bhaktivinoda Thakur came and they asked him, how can we understand? Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained in this way. There is some pure devotee who is doing apparently something wrong. And I still consider him as a sadhu, even though that apparent misconduct is there, but I consider him as a sadhu. Then I, by appreciating that sadhu and recognizing his sadhuness, I will be purified. That will be for me, not for him. Because I will properly see the devotee and I will sing the glories of devotee. So by this practice, I will be purified very quickly, not him. So in this way, and the example is like gopis. They are pure devotees, but outwardly it looks like they are breaking the Varna Ashram Dharma, because in the dead of night they left their husbands and children and houses. That is improper conduct according to Vedic conduct. And they went to Krishna to serve him. So now I may say these gopis are very bad. It is wrong. They should not, they should not do this. It is illicit. Then I will commit wrong. Then I cannot be purified. But if I can recognize devotion in them, that they are actually doing superior dharma, that is serving Krishna, and in reality they are not doing anything wrong. And this is also not wrong they're doing, because they are doing for Krishna. So if I can recognize such type of devotion in someone who is apparently doing something wrong, then it will benefit me. I will be purified. And it is the same for sadhakas. If I can appreciate this in the sadhakas, that they are devotees, they are having faith in Krishna, they are trying to serve him, and they are sadhu. Should not speak anything bad about them, or like if I praise good qualities even in a sadhaka, then Krishna will be pleased with this. And that will be one kind of my practice also to get devotion to Krishna, because we heard Mahaprabhu said, you sing the glories of Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavas may be pure devotees, and Vaishnavas may be sadhaka devotees. If I can see the good qualities and if I can speak about the good qualities of Vaishnavas, that will purify me. That will be my service to Krishna. Or like another example is Hanuman. He killed so many people there on Sri Lanka. So one may think this is violence. But someone will say, no, it was for the service of Ram. He did nothing wrong. Then I will be purified, because recognizing that devotion. So here, apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva, one who will consider him as a sadhu, though apparently sadhu, I will be purified. So two types of interpretation. It depends how you understand the original verse. What refers of Ananya Bhak. It may refer to pure devotee, Ananya Bhak. Or it may refer to one who is now one pointedly sadhaka. He's not worshipping anyone. Oh, this process he's doing. He may do something wrong due to past bad habits, but he is a sadhu because he's properly resolved. This is one meaning. Another meaning, Ananya Bhak is a pure devotee. So how he can do something wrong? And how is it possible for him to get purification? Not possible. So if we take this Ananya Bhak, then that interpretation cannot go. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur resolved in this way. So next verse says this. Kipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigachati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. O son of Kunti, my devotee will soon become a God-loving soul and will attain eternal bliss. O Arjuna, proclaim the promise that my devotee is not doomed to destruction. Explanation to this verse. O son of Kunti, know you for certain that my bhakta of unswerving devotion is never doomed to destruction. Some blemishes or accidental foreign dirts may temporarily defile his character in the incipient stage, means practicing stage, beginning stage, but they will ere long, means soon, be dissipated by the force of his immaculate devotional temperament. He will soon, as a result of his leading a pure devotional life, attain eternal bliss, which a karmin or a jnanin can hardly obtain in his pious or stoic indifferent life. Karmis, they do pious things, but jnanis, they do stoic indifference, means renunciation. O son of Kunti, Arjuna, proclaim the promise, as do our Abhakta, that my devotee is not doomed to destruction even after death, because thy promise is more strictly observed than that of mine. So again here, two interpretations may be. One is this, that someone is sadhaka, so very quickly by his devotional practice, he will totally remove all those drawbacks, even if sometimes they come. Foreign dirts may come, but they will soon be removed and he will get eternal bliss. But jnanis and karmis, they cannot get. This is one thing. Another thing is, another interpretation is, if I can praise devotees, seeing good qualities in them, like in the gopis, doing apparently wrong, but they're doing actually right, and Hanuman doing right, or sadhaka devotee, he's very good, he's doing proper action, he took this path of pure devotion to Krishna, so if I praise devotees, recognizing their devotion, if I sing their glories, then I will very quickly be purified and will get eternal bliss. And then Krishna sometimes has to break promise. In Mahabharata it happened. So Krishna intentionally told to Arjuna, you should say it, because people may not take it for granted if I say it, because sometimes I have to break promise. But that is, Krishna is also breaking promise for higher purpose, but not everyone is understanding. But Arjuna is Aryan, well conduct, according to Vedic scripture, everything. So if he promises, then it will surely be true. So Krishna requests Arjuna, you tell to all karmis, jnanis, yogis, anya bilasis, you tell to them that though in my devotees someone may observe some drawbacks in beginning stages, still you should declare to them they should not criticize him, because he is properly resolved and very quickly he will become pure devotee, because he's already doing this process. If someone goes gradual process, karma, gyan, ashtanga, all this, that will take long time to purify. Ultimately, he will anyhow have to come to bhakti yoga. So that will take long time. But if one is already took to devotion, very quickly he will get eternal bliss. So Arjuna, you should tell to everyone. Loudly you should. Our Gurudev said, beating drum. You should beat drum and go everywhere and announce to everyone that my devotee will not be destroyed. So I think Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said also this, that you take this chance, Arjuna. You do this, you take this chance. That will be of great benefit to you. If you go and praise the devotees, don't lose this chance. You go everywhere and beating drum, loudly declare the good qualities of devotees. That will be beneficial for you. So you go. This is also one interpretation. Krishna gave him this sort of sadhana to sing the glories of Vaishnavas everywhere. Of all kinds of Vaishnavas to sing their glories. Mam hi parta vyapashritya yepi syuh papayonayaha striyo vaishyas tata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. O Partha, persons that take absolute shelter in me alone, though they be born of sinful wombs, such as the mlechas or the yavanas, that is we here, Westerners, following either nothing or following those religious practices which are for certain level only, still eating meat and drinking alcohol and some violence also. So this is sinful worms, papayoni, mlechas or the yavanas. I was once called in Calcutta Mat. I told many times that one lady told, oh, mlecha. But I was happy to see the glory of Prabhupada. That was the day of Prabhupada's appearance day. So I said, yes, you see, what is the glory of Prabhupada? I am a mlecha, it is true. Very sinful. I'm a mlecha. But by the grace of Prabhupada, I have faith in Krishna, I have faith in his prasad, and I'm even distributing Krishna's prasad to others. So you see what is the mercy of Prabhupada. So mlechas and yavanas. Yavanas like Muslims there. Then women, including the harlots, prostitutes, Vaishyas and Shudras, including even the outcasts and untouchables, dog eaters and them, or cat eaters or worm eaters. Nowadays, they want to make this as a regular diet and offer in Europe also to those worms and insects like this. They want to make it as normal. In China also they're eating everything. Cats, dogs, monkeys, insects, worms, totally everything. So that is also possible. Now you see many Chinese devotees, by the grace of Mahaprabhu and his associates, they stopped those bad habits and they are worshipping Krishna. Chanting Mahamantra, I saw them in Mayapur. One group of Chinese devotees, they came to take darshan of Gurudev in Mayapur, and Gurudev came out to see them, and he inspired us all. He was clapping and singing Mahamantra, and we were all repeating. So they were very enthusiastic, Chinese devotees. So untouchables or those who are eating everything, dogs, everything, they can attain the supreme goal by their single-minded devotion. That is to say, a true devotee is not confined to a particular caste, creed, color, sect, or community. Whoever will, whatever his background, it doesn't matter. But whoever has got that Sukriti, and by the inspiration of pure devotee, he is inclined to serve Krishna, he will be rescued. taking shelter of Krishna, from wherever he is, he will be rescued, whoever he is. Krishna himself telling here, so there is no discrimination. Whoever will take shelter, he will be rescued. Those who will not, maybe he's a high-class Brahmin, but he will not purify himself, nor his family, nor anyone, if he's not a devotee. But someone may be very bad, sinful past and low birth and ugly or whatever. If he will take shelter of Krishna and worship him, he is a sadhu, he is the best of humans, best of humanity. So here again Krishna says, I am equal to all. Whoever will take shelter of me, he will be rescued. I will rescue him. But if I am not taking shelter, then it is not Krishna to be blamed, that he is blessing some and not the others, and not me. It is not that Krishna is partial. The problem is I am not taking shelter, I am not taking the advantage of his mercy. Like sun is giving light to all. But if I close my eyes, then I will be deprived. So Krishna says, whoever will take my shelter, I will rescue him. Even an animal. We see Gajendra, the dog of Shivananda, or anyone. Impunar brahmanah punya bhaktarajarshayas anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Oh, sorry, I did not read the explanation to previous verse yet. This is, a free soul is a transcendental entity belonging to the kingdom of God. But during his bondage in the Maic world, he may gain the ultimate end if he worships me with unsullied devotion, whatever caste or creed, sect or community he may belong to. Then this next verse, there can be no shadow of a doubt about the fact that even the holy Brahmanas and the pious Kshatriya princes shall become bhaktas by observing the sacred rules of conduct based on the cult of bhakti. Hence, O Arjuna, do thou worship me with unsullied devotion, so long as you are a pilgrim in this world, which is transient and changeable and devoid of real happiness. Explanation. Even when persons of low origin are entitled to lead a life of pure devotion, and even when their contaminated sinful rules of life cannot be a barrier to their spiritual uplift with the advent of the light of divine bhakti, which dispels the gloom of all sinful propensities, then there can be no shadow of doubt about the fact that the sacred rules of conduct based on the cult of bhakti and observed by the holy Brahmanas and the supreme saints, pious Kshatriyas, will in no time strike at the root of all evils accruing from actions, good or bad, done by them, either in this life or in the previous. Hence, O Arjuna, do thou worship me ever and anon. Anon, I don't know this word. Soon, shortly. Archaic. This is very old word. So, hence, O Arjuna, do thou worship me ever and anon, soon, with unsullied devotion, so long as you are a pilgrim in this sinful world, which is transient and changeable and devoid of real felicity. Felicity means happiness, felicità in Italian. When I was in one temple in Pula, Croatia, there they speak Italian also. So there I learned these Italian words, felicità. By hearing translation of Harikatha, I could understand felicità is happiness. So here, the constructor of this world, the engineer of this world, Krishna, he knows best. Like Gurudev told, there is that Howrah bridge made by one engineer a very long time ago during British India, without pillars, one bridge he made. And nowadays, they are unable to repair that bridge because no one understands how that can be made. How he made it, no one could understand. They're all engineers, but they could not understand. So, one who did that bridge, he knows how it is working. Like that, Krishna made this world. He is the creator. And he's telling us what is the true nature of this world. Very clearly he says, Anityam means temporary. We think it is eternal, but it is not. Krishna is saying, no, it is Anityam. And another important point he's telling, Asukam, no happiness here. So it is made like that. So why we are so illusioned that it is eternal and we will get all happiness? It is not. It is Anityam Asukam Lokam. So you should know this, and Imam Prapya Bhajasa, then you worship me. No one can change this, because Krishna made this world. No one can make this world eternal. No one can make this body eternal. They're trying by some processes, but it is impossible. And no one can squeeze happiness out of this world. That happiness which would fulfill you, everlasting, and it would touch your soul, fulfill your soul, no one can. Except if he uses this world under the guidance of pure devotee for the service of Krishna. Then by that he can get eternal bliss as long as he is still in this world, and then he will go to Golok Vrindavan. But those who will not worship Krishna with this world, then it is impossible for them to get Satchidananda, existence, eternity, this knowledge or consciousness and happiness. Impossible. It is just the opposite. Looks like this, but Maya means not that. If we think this world is eternal, not that. It is temporary. If we think it is full of knowledge, not that. It is no knowledge here. And we think it is bliss, not that. No bliss is there. Actual bliss. Then last verse of this chapter. Manmana bhava mad bhakto mat yaji mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi yuktvavam atmana mat parayanaha. Fix do, O Arjuna, thy mind on me alone. Be do always devoted unto me. Perform do thy duties as a matter of sacrifice for me. Bow down thy head always before me, and be thou absorbed in my meditation. When thou art thus unswervingly attached to me alone, thou shalt attain me and enter into my blissful realm as a devout servitor, after performing all kinds of duties as a kshatriya in this mundane plane. Explanation. There is no explanation of this verse. Only gist at the end of this chapter. So then tomorrow we'll... So this is similar verse which comes also at the end of Gita. Man mana bhavo, you think always of me, become my devotee, you worship me and offer your obeisances to me, and surely you will come to me and enter into my blissful realm as a devout servitor. So here Arjuna had to do this to offer his duties as a kshatriya as a service to Krishna for him. So gist of this chapter. The sum and substance of this chapter is that pure devotion is the means of attaining divine love, the ultimate end, that pure self, free from the bondage of the three qualities, is fit to practice pure devotion. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratana nirmalam hrishkena, you know, and that Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord of all beauty, truth and harmony, is the only object of worship of all the jivas, because all jivas are his eternal servants, they are coming from him. So long as this fundamental principle remains hidden to the ken of the fallen souls, they are apt to betake themselves to other means, not conducive to the eternal spiritual health of their self proper, and are therefore bound to suffer misery. A neophyte may be found to possess some unshastric rules of conduct, but he will soon be relieved of them in the process of his spiritual purification. He is to be regarded as a sadhu, being superior to a karmin, gyanin or yogin. A bhakta does never meet destruction. He wants nothing but divine love, for which he devotes all his attention and energy. But here we also see they want to misuse this word. They want to take undue advantage of this verse. They think it is like a kind of license. I can do all nonsense activities, but still I can be regarded as a devotee if I just worship Krishna. But Gurudev said, this is hypocrisy. So such person will not be forgiven by Krishna, because he is approving of those actions, and also he is not repenting for them, and he is not really sincerely serving Krishna. He is only misusing this as an excuse. One who is sincerely serving Krishna, but due to pressure of some previous bad habits, he does something wrong, in his heart he will repent and regret and pray for forgiveness and try his best to serve Krishna like this. To him only this verse applies, not to hypocrite who is trying to misuse this as a justification or as a license that he can do wrong activities. Then such hypocrite will also will not be purified, and he will be punished for those misdeeds and for this cheating and everything. He will be punished to get a lesson. So this also we have to know, and tomorrow we will go through the questions to this verse. Very good.